We are touring one of my friend's properties to look at her garden space and see if we can offer any potential upgrading advice.
Please, thank you.
And I'm really excited to share this with you guys because I haven't seen it. So you're gonna get like real-time responses to my observations and our ideas and everything that we put out there. So we're about to head out into it. But before we do, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more health and homesteading content. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Walking action. What are we about to see? The most beautiful dog that you've ever seen. What's the dog's name?
This is Joro.
Joro. Joro, you're beautiful. All right, so tell me what we're walking into. Tell me what's happening.
Okay.
Is this it?
This is part of it.
This is part of it.
So last year, this was my first attempt at a medicinal.
Hey.
But this is where that compost I told you about that was not hot enough was mostly spread. And so it ended up just being mostly weeds, and so many of my medicinal seeds didn't even get to come through.
Yeah.
And I eventually gave up on the weeds.
So you had ordered this compost had weeds.
Yeah.
And boom. And you can see that it's like really good soil up in here.
Mm-hmm.
So still prime planting space. Oh my gosh, yeah. We let space a little makeover. And it's not even that bad. Tell me what your vision is for this space. Like, what do you want? What are your goals for this space?
I'd like to give the medicinals another go around.
Okay.
And then I want it to just become kind of a wild medicinal garden that sells seeds and just going.
And you had a little border, I think, going at one point.
Yeah,
huh?
there was a border. There is a border. It's
all right.
under.
So all that needs to happen, and what is this? Is this some of the mulch or
No,
straw?
that was the weeds that I just let stay.
Oh, I see.
And now covered the soil, which maybe worked in my favor. I don't know.
Ha ha ha. That's hard. Okay. Key with any sort of garden plot and weeds is to be hyper aggressive with weeds in the very get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're a victim of like the bad compost, weedy compost.
Yeah.
It wasn't your fault.
I cleared this bed probably 5 times.
Yeah.
And then they just kept pulling the seeds to the surface and it would go again. And I just eventually gave up.
So good news and bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news is you'll have to keep going and pulling up the weeds. Mm-hmm. There's really no way around it. Mm-hmm. If you want to use this space, and I think you should use this space. But if you were to clear out this space, take away all the grass, build up the soil, maybe do like an inch of compost on top. I don't think you need more than an inch because like I'm stepping on it and it's like soft, it's going down. The more you build up the soil, the easier it's going to be to take up the weeds. Now that's not what you want to hear. You're like, ugh, that's terrible news because that's what you were doing. Mm-hmm. You gave up after that feeling of like getting tired of doing all that. Mm-hmm. So the worst possible like news that I could possibly break it to you. But here is the kicker. Here's where it changes. Mm-hmm. Once you get the weeds up, you add some fresh compost because the more you build up the soil, the softer the soil gets, the easier it is to pull the weeds. Mm-hmm. You remove all the weeds and then you have to fill this thing up. You have to fill it up with an intentional mulch. Or plant all of it. If I were you, as soon as you weed everything and put your 1-inch compost on it, I would immediately mulch it. Okay. Thick. You cannot overdo it. It could be 4 inches of mulch. Yeah. Initially, you might have a bunch of weeding to do, but like you're kind of going into this like there's going to be some initial cleanup, right? Mm-hmm. So get the initial cleanup in, top it off, mulch it heavily, and then plant it heavily because there's always going to be weeds. And I think where folks get mixed up with weeds and get literally in the weeds is when they don't have their space planted and mulched well enough.
Okay.
So then it's just a matter of thinking out how you want to lay out your medicinals, you know? And you're gonna need to take out like the grasses that are in between that wire.
Yeah.
So that
we're gonna take that all out anyway.
Okay. I don't know. How does that feel for you? Does that that feel tangible?
Yeah, no, that feels tangible. That's been I've been thinking that, and I'm glad that you have the same idea, and that my idea was spot on, or at least as close as I could get. The other thing I considered was doing a cover crop to try to eliminate some of the spring weed growth.
You could do a cover crop just as part of your living mulch. You know what I mean? That is, in essence, like just filling up the space. Like, you're gonna need to take everything up. You don't necessarily have to take up your clover and your plantain.
I mean, those are everywhere. So.
They're everywhere, for sure.
I didn't plant those.
Yeah, for sure. But it also doesn't hurt for them to be there.
Yeah. No, they're great.
You know, and the clover will add some nitrogen, fertilize whatever's around it. Taking everything up. Now, what you can do as a plastic alternative is burlap.
Okay.
That is like your natural weed barrier material.
Yeah.
But personally,
like cotton burlap? Is that what you mean? Okay.
Yes. But personally, I don't really like doing any of that, because then when it comes time for planting,
you have to cut
it's a pain. And even like for things that you want to like self-sow, it might not germinate, you know? So the work is all up front, and then after that, it should be a breeze.
Hopefully easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year this did not have mulch, and it felt too late by the time I wanted to bring in mulch.
Yeah.
It was that shaggy soldier weed.
I don't know.
And it just spreads. It comes up really easy.
Yeah.
But then it just keeps coming. I think that's why they call it the soldier, shaggy soldier. It just keeps coming. It's not like grass.
It just doesn't stop.
It just doesn't stop. So.
Is some of this a shaggy soldier?
I don't know. I mean, this is poke, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. This just looks like grass.
Yeah.
Now's
a good time to go ahead and do it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're already seeing some things germinate, some weeds germinate. This is the time where you want to be like doing your picnics, like literally in this spot. This is where you should be doing picnics. Do picnics and sit here and pull them like this.
All these little guys. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the time to get up in there when they're this small, you know? How are you doing, Olivia? Let me get a camera adjustment.
And so
if you sow seeds, you're gonna want to clear the space.
Okay.
You know, but that's how you can kind of control it. I mean, this soil is freaking amazing.
Thank you.
I
did something right.
You did. I mean, oh man, for the soil alone, you just can't give up.
Yeah, this is
on this space.
This is all old.
My gosh, it's really rich. So nice. I mean, it just makes you want to just get up in it. This is why you need to do picnics out here. So you can just, yes, I mean it. I mean, this is, look, there's a little worm.
There's, at the fishing dock.
Cece would buy it. She desperately needs worms. That's a good little one.
We're going to start a worm farm this year so that...
Oh, yes.
I love that. Project for Koa.
All right. Now, as I am like unearthing all of this, and I just feel like I could just make love to this soil. Don't weed this bed until you have mulch here to replace it.
Yeah.
Like, have that ready on site.
Right. Don't deal with...
I like want to cover it up. I do not want it exposed. If it's exposed, it will dry out and those worms will move, and we will not have what we're looking at here. So I think that's also where people can go wrong is like...
That's where I feel like I did. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to weed this week. I need to get mulch. And then wouldn't get the mulch. And then would weed and then do it again.
Yeah. Get the mulch. Get the mulch. All right. So do you feel good? Do you have any other questions about this little plot here?
That feels right.
All right, let's continue on.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, the chicken was coming to check on you. Let's see what else
We're
is
gonna
happening.
move. This was our like renegade situation.
It's
That will
pretty
move
cool.
again next year. And that's actually how we originally got the chickens scratch it up completely, which is what they did in here.
I like that coop.
Thanks. Yeah, the coop will keep, but we need better fencing and whatnot. So
That's the lone chicken right there.
we'll move that all out and expand this garden into here.
That's perfect. Does the chicken actually live in there?
No. She lives
Oh, that's right, in the tree.
She's in the tree.
The wild chicken.
No, we only really keep them in there to try to get them to lay in the nesting box so we know where eggs are.
Right.
Because so often we lose their nests. And so we'll just keep them in there to get that established, but then let them roam.
Nugget's got, I think I must have like wiped myself off right next to you.
Oh my gosh, so
sorry, little one. All right.
Okay.
Next spot. Ooh, black plastic. Tell me what's happening.
Okay. Well, these are all blueberries.
Oh, snap.
And they do really good. We get so many blueberries with this bush.
Hannah, I've never seen a berry this big. This is huge.
We get probably like 10 blueberries off of this.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I've never seen a blueberry this big. This obviously came with the property, huh?
Good. Yeah, and these a lot.
Wow. It's beautiful. So you really don't have to do much to this thing, huh?
Yeah. I pruned it last year, but this year it didn't need any pruning. So
yeah.
Just let it go.
Gosh, this is such a testament to how fruit trees and shrubs really need little pruning at this maturity. That's amazing.
Those had pretty much never been pruned, the apple trees, it seemed. So we did a more significant prune this year. And hopefully they'll do really well.
Oh, I'll be eager to hear how that goes.
Last year we pruned one pretty heavy and it produced the best apples, because before that it would produce a lot, but they just weren't. So
weren't very good in what way? Like small?
Like kind of like fleshy.
Ooh.
Like not a good texture, green.
Yeah.
And last year that one we pruned the most had apples. So hopefully for that this year.
Awesome. You guys did right by the prune.
Okay, so this spot.
Let's see what's going with this.
We got, like I said, the weeds were just so insane that I was like, I'm just gonna put black tarp down so we can have something this year.
Yeah.
It felt we would have to get so many truckloads of our mulch. This year I'm just gonna get dump trucks, but we so we just something.
What happened after the black tarp? You planted? Is this where you did the potatoes?
No, over there.
Okay.
There's no black tarp over there.
Okay.
And then we just did the pathways in the tarp.
Ah, yes.
This is the only spot that we planted in it.
Okay.
And it did fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this plot did okay. Yeah, all of it did okay. Just eventually got to the point that afraid of snakes.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah.
But this was all carrots, really well.
Okay.
This was all beets.
Okay.
And they did well. This is all strawberries in here.
I see some of the strawberries.
Yeah. So I just need to out some.
Yes, look at this patch. You've got a lot of strawberries.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're popping.
This part right here is more work. I mean, it's a bigger space. Let's see.
Yeah, this I'm guessing I'm just gonna do the same thing as what you said over there. I'm gonna pull in fresh soil. You know, under this black tarp now, it's pretty clean.
Yes, let's see how this.
Some ants in here. There's a lot of seeds on top of the tarp.
My only concern, and it's just one season, my only concern with planting in the tarp area is sometimes the black tarp can cook the soil a little bit. And so you're not going to have the same vitality as you would have like where you planted before. But it's possible, except for these guys. But that being said, it feels pretty cool. Like I think that with us just coming out of winter, I think that you could probably tap into this.
And we probably put this down and it wasn't
Okay.
It wasn't
Okay, yeah.
like a full.
For sure. So I think that you could reclaim that space. You know, it's more work, but I think you and your husband could probably spend a day knocking this out. So we've got patch number 1. Patch number 2 is a little bit bigger patch. And then we've got patch number 3, which is in the shade. And what I would suggest, because patch number 3 also got overwhelmed with weeds.
It did, but we were still able to get all of our potatoes out, and that's really all it's for.
Yeah.
Though I would have loved to do another round and do sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And potatoes and garlic in this patch, but it got tall.
This is why the isolated one chicken is so great, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the little cameo that the chicken comes in to make, the little noises. This is more work. This is definitely more work. Question is though, because I mean, you could do everything that we just talked about for this space, but will it just reweed and get overwhelming for y'all again?
Yeah, that's where I felt like, which I don't know if we could see, where I felt of doing like 4 inches of new soil and another, 4 inches of kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. The toughest little contenders in here, other than the weed that you had mentioned, the soldiers, are your grasses, because they're more deeply rooted. Yeah. And so if you shovel those out and rake all of this out and just till it again, you can give it another go if you mulch it immediately and see how that makes a difference. Right. This has got a lot of baby seedlings. Hopefully they're so small that if you did it soon, it would suffocate them.
Like this is just native soil.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Was not this over here. But yeah, it was not mulched.
And it's still so fluffy and soft and amazing.
Yeah, it's just tilled.
That's awesome. We just have to get it to a point where you don't have to till, Right. And I think the answer will be in that mulch. There is a place in Brasstown that does shredded mulch. Okay. That I'm going to start getting our mulch from, because
and they'll do like dump trucks.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I think it's $30 for a dump truck load, which is like a little over a yard. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And I'll need what, like.
I would start out with these 2 sections. Okay. But like before tackling this, I mean, you could certainly like just do what you did before and let the weeds come, but don't spread yourself thin. If you have to budget like a certain amount of mulch.
I don't know. I don't think we.
And even with your compost, honestly, like, I mean, they've got, we were talking about, like, they've got fancy soil. Yeah. I don't think you need fancy soil. Right. Like, your soil's amazing.
Just the mushroom compost.
Just get some straight up mushroom compost that you can get, like, more bang for your buck. Yeah. And spread it pretty thin, and then just go nuts on the mulch. Okay.
And is the compost, would we be?
Yeah, but I would be thinking about what green cover you could do. Okay. I
just mean instead of the compost mulch.
You could be okay just doing mulch. I don't know. It's a second year tilling. Perhaps maybe not that first patch. Maybe if you were just to get a little compost for these 2 patches, because you've already tilled them once, and if you till it again, you just might not get the same results. I don't know. Mulch is the most important thing. And you can increase the fertility, like if you guys start your own worm castings, start some worm tea, you could inoculate the soil in other ways without the compost. The worm tea would be awesome. You can do an aloe vera, which kind of is like a mycorrhizae substitute. Have you heard of mycorrhizae? So it's like it will coat root systems like mycorrhizae and basically help promote mycorrhizal growth. Okay. So you could do something like that. Okay. To skip the compost. And you could start making your own fermented fertilizer. Have you ever looked into that?
We used to do a lot of compost tea.
Boom.
But
yeah.
So I've never done it. I guess we'd done fermented tea.
So you've already experienced that a little bit. So you could do some of that. Get you some borage, get you some comfrey, you know.
Yeah.
But be thinking about your ground cover options, and what you could seed everywhere. Like maybe a bunch of clover, thyme.
And when I'm feeding it, or when I'm planting a ground cover with the mulch,
You could do a lighter application of mulch, but it's kind of the same philosophy. If you're going to do that, go ahead and get your seed on the ground as soon as the compost is in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any spaces where you wouldn't want to do a ground cover, if you'd want the whole thing to be green, or if you'd want a combination of mulch. You can do like a light dusting of mulch and then do the seeds. But at that point, there's no difference between the seeds intentionally planted versus wild seeds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one way or the other.
Right. Like with this specific, would it be best to do a big mulch year and start our ground covers next?
I would
spring?
probably do that.
Next.
I mean, I would
even in the fall.
I would start ground cover now. I just wouldn't plan on. Well, it's either way. It's honestly, it's whichever way you guys want. You just have to commit. And you don't have to commit to the whole thing being mulch and seed. You could do half and half. You could do some walkways. You could do in heavy mulch, and then the planting beds you could do in your ground cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to see how that feels initially, start with something like that.
Right. I wouldn't mind this all being clover cover.
I mean, because thinking it through, like just imagining walking out the process of like if you were to theoretically do a green mulch the whole way through, then what does your management of weeds look like as they pop up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you going to notice them and pull them?
Right.
You might, I don't know.
Yeah, until they're a bit bigger.
And so I think honestly, that will be part of your growing relationship with this garden, is identifying like how you want to pan out mulched areas versus green cover versus, does that make sense? What else? What are you thinking? Looking at it being like, this is no fun. I want to walk away.
Not quite. But
Okay,
I started raking out all of this yesterday.
Yeah, look at you. I see your little raked out spot.
With Koa today.
Yeah, get your mulch. Get your mulch. Maybe do section by section.
Yeah.
That way you can see your progress and feel good. You know what I mean? Just chipping away at it. I mean, that right there has got to be the most satisfying spot to start with, I would think.
The herb garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe if you want, because of timing, like if you need to plant other vegetables.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's,
and those are things to, right. So you could, I mean, what if you ended up doing, you said this is all moving?
Yeah, when it gets to it, yes.
So what if you started some of your medicinals along the perimeter? Or even just in a straight line? Or even incorporate all of it. Like you're not even that far from the house.
Yeah.
Like I would, let's go over there. Let's talk that out. Because that's kind of, I feel like that's exciting.
The nice mulch beds. But for the things I want to plant seed soon, I feel like I should start here. Here's my pile of mulch I never put anywhere.
All right. That is a good start. That is a good start.
So our dump actually has free mulch.
Oh, nice.
That's what this is, but it has a lot of soil in it.
It does have a lot of soil in it.
So that's part of why I never planted it or put it out.
You can see where like the seeds are germinating up in there.
Yeah, I didn't feel good about it, so I didn't end up.
That was smart.
Putting it out.
So
I might just go put it around this that we cleared out.
There you go. That's perfect. That is perfect.
So you have a nice sitting spot.
Here you've got the most perfect fluffy soil, and it's time to plant potatoes and carrots and beets. Okay. I think you should do that in this bed.
Okay.
Because you can do medicinals always, forever, whenever, wherever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could always do just a row of medicinals back here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it comes to like the layout of perennials versus annuals, I think doing, whether it's raised bed or in ground, having borders of anything permanent or impermanent that's different from like your main crop is the way to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then you'll keep your space open for your main stuff. Usually for most medicinals, you only need like 1 or 2 for the most part, I feel like, right?
Yeah, they get huge.
Yeah, they can get huge.
Yeah, my motherwort is over there. That's the one that's thriving and surviving.
That's awesome.
Since it made it.
Nice.
Okay,
so
so
I
clear
would
all this out. Do my
yes.
probably carrots and beets here.
And just start with this one.
Okay.
Just start with this one, like 1 truckload of mulch.
Okay.
Get those guys planted.
Yeah, it's already.
And then
So
that's,
pull this up, get all these weeds out.
but don't even worry about like these little weeds. They're so young and tender that just by disrupting them, like it's probably going to be fine. They're probably not going to come up because I don't even think they've come out of their cotyledons. Like they're still just like, you know, just sprouts.
Okay.
So just by doing that, and this bed is going to be so much easier to work with. Like a lot less to take up, a lot less to do. You could get your potatoes, beets, and carrots in, you know, within the next few weeks and then feel good about it. You got something growing.
Totally.
Don't have to, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Okay.
And then just keep going as the season goes, bed by bed.
Okay. That's
you
helpful.
know? Does that feel good?
Yes, that's helpful.
I feel good about that.
That's really, yes, that's manageable and helpful. Yeah. I'll probably do carrots and beets here because I want to do a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then maybe I'll do this spot, just pulling up that black tarp.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy and trying to get all this stuff out. If we could get all this out.
Yeah, just
this is hard to manage.
Yeah, it's very hard to manage.
Like having to do the weed whacker with me with small children, and it just doesn't usually happen.
I wouldn't even do the weed whacker.
Yeah.
You know, like just keep it whole, keep it clumped together.
Oh, I just meant keeping this grass here and managing it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, cutting it.
But yeah, you pull all
right.
this out, you're saying.
Yeah, pull all it out.
Cover it in mulch, yeah.
And what, you know, you'll have potatoes you want to get in immediately. Carrots beets you can do successions of.
Yeah.
So like maybe you don't get as many maybe you do 1 row of carrots, 1 row of beets so you can maximize your potatoes. And do a second round of all of that here.
Okay.
But I know you want a lot of potatoes. And
that's what I was thinking.
I don't know if this plot
filling in this spot with potatoes.
Yeah.
Working on this.
Yeah.
Getting these grasses out.
Knocking out this space, plant your potatoes, then do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I like that.
This is stuck. This part. Pulling these out.
You know, it might not be so bad. It might not be so bad. If you just keep your shovel out here and y'all hang out here every day and you just get little clump out by clump, I don't think it will be so bad. I know that it gets pretty dense. It's pretty dense. But I believe that this would be good to do. Once you knock that out, get this ready. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the cardboard really do what it's supposed to do. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen so many videos of people making their gardens with cardboard, and I've just never seen it work. You know, like show me your garden 3 years later. That's what I want to ask them. But you know, who's got time for that kind of snarkiness? All right, well, what else are you thinking, Hannah?
I don't know. I think that's...
All right.
I mean, eventually, I'd like to plant stuff under these apple trees.
Oh.
But not this year.
We'll have to look at companions.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's say goodbye. We've got 2 sleeping babies, a garden plan that does not feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah. It does not feel as overwhelming as we started.
Yeah.
It feels like,
I can see it. Your face has changed.
It feels more manageable.
Good.
Sure. It's still a big project, so there's that.
Yeah.
But having this one done.
Absolutely.
And being others done.
Yes, because you've got time. It's awesome. All right. I hope y'all have enjoyed our little garden tour.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Hannah, for showing us this and walking us through. If you have a problem garden, I hope that this video has inspired you a little bit, or if you're feeling a little intimidated to like pep back up a garden and bring it back to life, I hope this has brought some joy to you and some inspiration. If it has, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel for more health and homesteading content.